Mosher Media Podcast.
Good morning and welcome to the Monday Morning Commute here on the Mosher Media Podcast. And today, right here, January 19th, 2026, as we get into the new year, and I'm sticking to the New Year's resolution to keep the podcast going, and that's so important. At least that's what all my advisors in the social media and marketing world tell me. Very important to be posting consistently. And of course, when I got into this business, I was going to shoot video, make money handing over a tape or doing a video project. Now we're into all kinds of things. You have to be an expert on almost everything, or at least you got to give it the good college try, as they say. So today's topic, we're going to talk a little bit about what are we doing this week to market our businesses, to grow, to get into all of this, to make 2026 better than 2025. And 2025 was a good year, I suppose, but what are we doing each week? Maybe making a resolution every week? Can you do a weekly resolution, a new week resolution? Is that a thing? You know, I love selling and marketing, and I was sending one of these videos to a person who's in charge of an organization that I'm a member of, and that person told me that I was too salesy. And I got a little kick out of that. Maybe I should be offended, but I am the salesperson. It's my job to go out there and grow the business or find clients or make it all happen. And of course, these videos are a podcast, just one of 100 things that we should be doing. But I'm too salesy. And I almost came back to it. I did, and I let it go. But I almost said, my dad was a salesman. His dad was a salesman. I come from a long line of very salesy people. There's nothing wrong with being salesy, I suppose, but I think what she was going for when she told me this was that some of the other videos that were from similar companies maybe were a little more campy or a little more YouTube style, and maybe my style here is a little too podcast. So I didn't delve into it too much, but I will tell you, I'm a little salesy, and I'm a little corporate. And sometimes some of my other advisors tell me, but that doesn't translate well either. I'm 51 years old. There it is. So, I grew up, my adult life, all of this was corporate video and television commercials and doing marketing videos at very traditional sense in the old days. And so it's kind of fun to be here and to figure out how to navigate all of this in this era. And I love it, certainly. And I had to bring these out, maybe a little gimmicky, but back in the day, I had hundreds of these, and we would fill them with candy and send them out. Or if we would go see a client, this would be the leave behind. If you were seeing a new client or maybe an existing client, this would be a gift. And I will tell you, speaking of corporate, in all my years doing this, I always remembered the notification from legal at every major corporation that we did work with that you were never permitted to give a gift larger than varying dollar amounts depending on which company. But most of the big companies, you weren't really supposed to give a gift larger than $25. So if you gave somebody a set of golf clubs, we're going to be in hot water. I can remember one time going to a trade show, and I'm there traveling with my clients, a major corporation, and I'm traveling with their marketing department, and one of the guys I was with won a Harley Davidson. Won a brand new Harley Davidson motorcycle at this conference. It was one of those things where if you put your business card in the fishbowl, you're entered to win a Harley Davidson, and he won. And he went, and he knew the answer already. If you have to call corporate and ask if you're allowed to receive this gift, this prize, he knew. And for one brief second, he looked at me because I'm a vendor. I'm not an employee of the corporation. He looked at me, and I was looking at. I knew what he was thinking. He was thinking maybe I could transfer the prize, and it just wasn't happening. There was just no way. And that's just the way things go. But I'll tell you one workaround. It's Girl Scout cookie season, and I will tell you, no corporate lawyer in America will stop you from giving your clients in a company excessive amounts of Girl Scout cookies. This is the way around. This is the workaround. If you're selling to corporations like I am and you're going to see the marketing department, you show up with 20 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. Are they going to add that and go, wait a minute, those are $5? Are they $5 a piece now? I think maybe they're $7. This inflation. But let's say Girl Scout cookies are $7 a piece, and you walk in with 10 of them. That's, well, maybe you pass them around, but nobody's going to stop you from giving Girl Scout cookies to your prospects and customers. And I'll tell you what a great idea. Support the Girl Scouts. It is Girl Scout cookie season. I just got the notification from my dealer. I thought I had kicked it, and then you get a notification from your dealer, and boy, you can't resist the Girl Scout cookies. And again, I buy them up like crazy. I buy dozens. And then I go around giving them out. They are always a hit. This is a great marketing idea. So there you go. And it's, you draw from things like, why not draw from the toolkit, or you go back to the war chest and go, wait a minute, this worked. These are probably 15 years old. Why don't I get more of these? My challenge here is figuring out where we got these or who the vendor was. That was, could have been a printed catalog. Somebody walked in from the distributor of the novelty items and the trinket items and all the pens with your name on them and all that, and I'd buy everything in sight. I think that's where we got the shirts with the Mosher Media logo. There it is. One thing I'll talk about that's really important to me is being involved in the community and offering a nonprofit discount. And in some cases, if I'm really involved in an organization, there's nothing wrong with making a donation of your services, volunteering, and doing it in a way that what you volunteer or what you contribute to the organization is in line with what your skill set is in your career. And one incredible example, an organization was called Heart to Heart Communications, and Father Norm Douglas was associate pastor at the Holy Family School in Stowe, Ohio, where I grew up, and I have known him since I was a kid. And what a great guy, and Larry Villeman. And got together and formed this organization called Heart to Heart, and they would come into companies. And Larry Villeman, a lawyer. So it started off, it sounding like a joke. The priest and the lawyer walk into the business, and they're consultants in this heart-to-heart communications, comes into companies and does seminars and helps you figure out your purpose and living life with purpose through the work that you do. And a lot of great coaching to get people to work together as a team, and all the stuff that they would do. They were just incredible. And Heart to Heart lived on when they retired from it. Jeremy Lyle took over, and it's a great organization. And here in Akron, it's now called the Center for Immersive Leadership. They have an annual breakfast, and all of Akron shows up to support this, and it's at the Jonas Knight Center. This year it's May 12th, and I go every year, but I go because I donate the production of the videos. We sponsor the video, so Mosher Media is the video production sponsor, and they show a few interviews and clips, and we produce them, and we've done this for probably 15 or 20 years, going back a long time. Immersiveleadership.org. Take a look. Most folks here in the Akron area would know, but it's worth looking at from outside the area just to see what they do. It's a really unique thing. That breakfast, there's 500 or 600 people in the room, and it's all of Akron's business leaders and political leaders, community leaders, and really a great event. That's one of those things where you got to be there. And I'm curious to know if you're watching, if you're like I am, most of our subscribers here, people listening to this, our audience, business owners, people in the creative field, people that have an interest in what Mosher Media would be doing or what other media production, video production companies, ad agencies might be doing. I'm a firm believer that you got to be involved in these things. And I've told a story last week about how when my boys were in high school, I sort of stepped away from it and focused on getting them through school and being an educator and remote learning. I'm not an educator, but you had to become one in that era. And so I stepped away from all this community involvement. I'm looking at if I could only pick a couple of things to be involved in. We can't do everything. And being involved with the Center for Immersive Leadership, certainly at the top, the Greater Akron Chamber. This is a wonderful group to be involved with. What is what is the chamber in your town? Are you involved? And I'd love to hear comments on it. Or email me. Dan@moshermedia.com is my email. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you're going to do this week differently than what you did last week to build the business. And on my mind right now is the Center for Immersive Leadership and the Greater Akron Chamber. And one reason that the chamber rises to the top is I went to what they call the morning buzz, once a month on a Friday morning. And just like the Center for Immersive Leadership with their annual breakfast, these things are starting at 7:30 in the morning. You got to be dedicated. You got to, what time do you have to get up to be at a breakfast, dressed, ready to network at 7 o'clock in the morning? So I went to the morning buzz, sponsored put on by the Greater Akron Chamber. First one I had ever been to, and this was outstanding. And I'll tell you, I picked the right one to be the first one. This fella, Bruce Hennis, was the keynote speaker, and he was phenomenal. And I don't know him. I do now. I feel like after listening to him speak, he is in the field of crisis communications, and his talk on how to prepare your business for the possibility of a crisis and how to face the media if your business or your organization has the gotcha interview reporter show up at your door, how to handle that, how to handle a number of crises that could potentially damage your reputation if you don't handle it properly. And he was phenomenal. And so then I went and took a look. I got a chance to speak with him afterwards. And, in my work in media, I've worked a few crisis communications planning sessions or worked through with executives that want to practice being on the media so that they're prepared. But Bruce Hennis was phenomenal. And I looked him up online. His website is crisiscommunications.com. What a great URL. So I typed his name in, and here comes crisiscommunications.com. Now, there's some marketing. How important is having a good URL like that to your marketing plan? That's pretty good. But the American Advertising Federation, there is an Akron chapter, and we're members, and that also rises to the top. So there's the groups I'd like to be involved in. And certainly there's a number of organizations out there that are great, but you pick and choose based on what your beliefs are, what you really feel like you could get behind or be passionate about. And finally, since here we are on Monday, January 19th, let's take a moment, as it is the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we need to certainly educate ourselves, take a moment. And if you're going to do that, go to the kingcenter.org and take a look at how all of this media has been preserved, how his legacy has been preserved through the King Center. The CEO is his daughter, Dr. Bernice A. King. And that's what I plan on doing today, is watching videos beyond, the ones that we know. Delve into all of the speeches and even take a minute to look at the other leaders in the civil rights movement. It's all there. And the YouTube channel, the youtube.com, the King Center, it is amazing how all of this media has been preserved and how wonderful it is. And today is the day to take a minute to revisit and to relearn and to be inspired again. And boy, some of these messages that are there are probably needed now more than ever in this world we're living in. We don't get into a lot of religion and politics on this. I like to talk about business, but certainly given the day here today, certainly wanted to end on that. And thank you for watching, and I would love feedback. And if you're like me, you've been doing this 3 decades, and you continue to, as we all do, reinvent and adjust with the times and understand the new trends and figure out new technology. How are you doing it? Dan at MosherMedia.com. Love to just give you 10 or 15 minutes to inspire, to maybe throw out some topics just for food for thought. Thanks for watching.
Mosher Media Podcast.